Sadly, compared to the incredibly relevant and wise comments from virtually everybody that spoke, let me set your expectation a little lower. I don't have any brilliant notes. I was never a good student. Study. But I really value education. As virtually everybody has pointed out, it's the most valuable thing you'll ever have. I have to tell you, I have now for a few decades been given great honors to show up at great universities, but always in the same context. It was a graduation. And the invitations always start in the same way. We would like you to come, we would like you to speak, we would like to honor you. And it's a great honor, and you always do it, because I recruit. But the conversation inevitably comes down to the president saying something more or less like, and please give the kids some good advice on how to succeed. I've given that a lot of thought over all of those graduations. I did 2 this year, one in Tel Aviv at the Technion and one recently at Yale University. But they all have something in common. They asked me to come and typically be the very last speaker 10 minutes before all the kids that they've had for 4 years, the kids who now have given up all their money. In that last 10 minutes, I'm supposed to give them the advice on how to be successful. I typically start out by saying, I'm playing this game under protest. It's too late for me to add any value. This is the first time in my life I've been invited to the beginning of the process. It's astounding. And I'm not being overly kind when I say each of those speakers was saying things I intended to say. You should study. You should make friends. You should get out of your comfort zone. They were each saying, deal with the faculty as your mentors. Even the video said that. So rather than try to add anything new, let me just confirm as passionately as I can that what you just heard is incredibly insightful. I practice what I preach. Nobody gave me that advice when I started college, and I really did spend the best 5 years of my life as a freshman. I never graduated because I took that advice and I sat in the office of faculty member after faculty member all day and half the night. Physics, math, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering. Whoever would help me. Sure, I bought the textbooks and sure I read them. I studied. But you can buy all that stuff and do it a whole lot cheaper than being at this beautiful place. What makes a university isn't the textbooks, they're all the same. What makes a university is faculty, the quality and the access to faculty. I created my own access to all that faculty. The curriculum got in the way a little, so I stopped going to class altogether and just spent my time with the faculty. I didn't get a degree, but I got one hell of an education. It seems like the ethos around here is, in fact, that you can now do both. And I think that's fantastic. And I would urge every student here to go and take as much advantage of the faculty as you possibly can. You've heard it. They chose to be faculty members for a reason. They enjoy, I am sure, dealing with smart, passionate students. I was, however, asked to give that advice. I'm going to try. But before that, I'd make one more observation. about virtually all of the graduations that I've attended. Inevitably, there's an undercurrent in all the speakers, and I hope by your graduation it'll be different as well. But it's pretty much, go out and conquer the world. You've worked hard. Now it's your turn. That offends me. You think you're working hard? There are people that get up every day around the world working hard to find water. Moms are burying babies, 2 million a year, because they don't have any. There are people that get up every day. They don't have this campus to roam. They don't even have the freedom to move. Anybody that thinks that after you spend 4 years here, the world owes you something is delusional. You are being given an unbelievable privilege in education, in an incredible place. Take advantage of it. But as you do, understand that with that privilege goes a responsibility. And it's not to conquer the world. Anybody that's looking at the world ought to realize it doesn't need conquering. The world is on life support. The environment, energy, food, healthcare, terrorism, cybersecurity. Which part of those things do you think is doing just fine? There's a very, very, very small group of people on this planet that are given the kind of education you're going to get. Those people presumably will then have the incredibly powerful tool of knowledge. Don't use the tool as a weapon. You don't need to conquer anything. Knowledge isn't a zero-sum game. You don't have to defeat anybody else. Starting here today, in the next 4 years, you should be in a cooperation as we do at first. You should be working with each other. You should be supporting each other. And you should carry that with you for the rest of your life. You will develop the skills here, skills to make a living. You should develop an attitude to make a life. And that's important. So, since I was told I have to give you advice, I made a short list of the 100 things you need to do to succeed. I'll go through it very quickly. Number 1, pick something important to do. That may seem easy. It's probably the one thing that at 18 or 19 you're not as good at as some of the geezers. Well, I mean, really, you got more energy, you got more life, you have more. But the judgment to know what's really important, that you got to work hard to do. And it's not get that new car, that's fun. It's not figure out how to get to South Beach in January. I mean, there's all sorts of fun stuff that I hope you get to do over 4 years. But of the 100 things you need to accomplish to really be a success, number 1 is figure out some important problem that you can be so passionate about working on that you don't mind doing it day and night. By the way, it will be hard because all the problems that were easy to solve, they're solved. The wheel, movable type, fire, done. Figure out something that's really important and dedicate yourself to it. Number 2, don't give up. And a lot of people, by the way, if you pick something important to do with your life, a lot of people, well-meaning people, your parents, your friends, some of your professors, meaning well, transferring their good judgment to you, will try to convince you not to do it. Because that big, important, really hard problem is fraught with risk. They'll tell you you'll probably fail. Your parents don't want you to fail. They've been trying to protect you their whole lives. That's got to start ending. they'll tell you a lot of things that turn out to be true. They'll tell you you'll probably fail, and you know what? You probably will. Pick yourself up and keep going. I'd rather fail, learn from it, and keep going, and fail again and learn from it. I'd rather fail or succeed in some spectacular challenge than live the warm death of mediocrity. But lots of things will probably try, subtly or not so subtly, to convince you to give up. Don't. So, number one, do something important. Number two, don't ever give up. Here's the best news of the day. The other 98 things don't matter. Have a great life.